Boys and Girls Hairstyles. Today I am going to do something a little different with my hair. In the back she's already covered it, the window. She has put a 5N with 10 volume on the bottom. And now I'll have her explain what she's going to put in here. And the chunk and everything, we're just going to do a chunk of a red violet in the blonde, so it'll be fun. So I'll just have her explain what she's doing.
Okay, so we have a section of hair here. It's probably about 2.5 inches wide and probably about 3 inches long. You can see the chunk that's there. I've mixed up in the bowl 3 different colors. We did a little bit of 5N, a little bit of 4R, and a little bit of 4V with some 10 volume peroxide. As you notice, the ends of her hair is really blonde. If we don't put the 5N in there, if you put a red color on, say, a white canvas, you're going to get pink. So if you don't add a little bit of 5N, you're going to get bright pink hair. So make sure you put a little bit of a neutral color in there. So anyway, and then I'm going to go through. I've got my foils. They're all ready. Sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to take, not going to take a very thick section. We're going to do it in a few smaller ones because you don't want to leave hair in between that's not going to be covered. So we're not weaving it, we're just doing solid sliced sections. So don't leave it out, and then just apply the color to the foil. And just go through that whole section and apply the red. And then that can process while we put the blonde on. And then of course we'll do the regular blonde that we always do. We're going to go through and weave the rest of her hair with a bleach and a 20 volume peroxide until we get towards the end, and then we'll probably add just a little drop of 40 to speed it up a little bit. Oops, I don't need to do that one. I'm talking about weaving, so I want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to add a chunk of color for fall. And then, I don't know, I might like it so much, we'll just add some more, I don't know. We'll just try it.
Yeah, we were trying to debate how much to do, if we should just do this chunk or if we should do all the way down the side. But we decided we can always add more. Sometimes it's better to err on the side of being cautious. You can always add more color. Red is sometimes a difficult color to remove, so if you do too much, you might be sorry, so you want to be careful there. Whoop, you're stuck together. There we go.
It's actually really nice being the one sitting in the chair. I like it.
For once, RaDona's so busy, it's hard to find time to sit down and get her own hair done.
I love it. I've been looking forward to it, so.
Okay, so we got those applied. There's about 6 foils there. I'm just going to go and use my comb and fold those up a little bit, just so they're out of the way a little bit for when I do the blonde. I don't want them hanging over, so I have to drag on the other foils. The foils are just a little wide. Okay. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and section it and start the rest. This is the side you usually start on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've gone through her head. If you remember, we did the dark underneath. This is the red section here. I weaved the rest of her hair with a bleach. We just have this little section right here left. So I'm just going to show you those last couple sections. So, and when I do RaDona's hair, I do pretty small sections. I don't do them very thick because her hair is so fine. And I think if we did them too thick, she'd have a lot of dark that would show between. And you want to be able to get a nice blonde color. So, and when I weave too, sometimes depending on the look you want, you will leave a section in between what you weave. On hers, I don't. I take each section and weave each section. I don't leave any in between. I mean, I do leave it between the part I weaved out, but I don't leave one whole section that's not weaved at all, because that would be a little more dark than what she's accustomed to and what she likes. So, make sure you get as close as you can to the root, so they have, you know, so their weave lasts as long as possible. They don't want to have to come back in a couple weeks because you didn't get it to the root. So, and then also, after she's done, we'll go ahead and process. I think I told you earlier, this last batch of bleach that I mixed with a 40 volume. So it's going to lift a little bit faster, and that way we can get an even lift on all the hair. So it's not like the hair we first weaved is going to be a lot more processed than this hair. We'd have to wait for this hair. But if we did it with a 40 volume, then it will lift out a lot faster. But after she processes, when we wash it, I will go through and take these red foils off and rinse them off first and get that red off the hair. If you were to pull all your foils out at once and rinse the hair off, this blonde hair that she has here would pick up that red color, and then she would have like pink ends on the rest of her hair from that red color going down onto it. So make sure when you rinse it that you would be sure to rinse those red ones off first and get all the color off, and then maybe even in the back, if that's possible, get those off too. So, sorry.
Perfect.
And she
No,
can't
good.
see.
That's fine.
Okay, do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, that's perfect. I just can't wait. And then we're actually going to do a video on my haircut also. We're just going to take the back off and just cut it. So we'll show you that video too. Thanks. Hi, I'm RaDona from Boys and Girls Hairstyles. So we just colored my hair, and there's that chunk of the color underneath there, which I'm loving. And it's just wet. I'm excited. She's done a great job. So what I'm going to have her do is just take the back of this. See how this is all long and grown out? See, you couldn't tell in that video, but so this is really grown out. So I'm going to have her take this back short. She'll probably have to take little buzzers to it here. And then I'm just going to have her trim all of this and then, you know, blend that into my sides. I want as much length as I can here around my face. So I'm just going to have her go for it and explain what she's doing.
Okay, I'm going to go into the bottom. I'm going to start in the back. I'm just going to take a parting there. I like to part it off because I don't want to get too much hair to work with at once. Sometimes it's hard to get all that even, I feel like, if it's not parted. So I'm going to part that off and just start with a smaller section and go from there. So, okay, so looking down, she wants quite a bit off through here. So we're going to cut kind of a guide in the middle, how much we want off. And then from there, we're going to work our way down to the length. Right there. Okay, and the same, going this way, going back down to the length. Okay, and you want to make sure, when I do this, I like to comb the hair straight down on the neck so you get all the hair cut that you need to. So you're not you're not leaving little bits up underneath. And like she said, we'll have to go in and trim this little bit off here. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the rest of this down and make sure there's not any more to cut. So there's a little bit here on each side that needs taken off. So we'll go ahead and cut that little bit in. Okay, and then she did not like all this fullness up in here. She feels like that needs to be shorter. So I'm going to go back again one more time and clip that up. Just again, this is my own reference. I feel like if I have a little bit less hair to work with, especially when I'm stacking and working with the hair cutting out that way, sometimes if you get too much in there, it's hard to get a nice clean cut. So, and something like this where it's going to be shorter, you want it to be a nice clean cut. You don't want it to be... So I'm going to take it, I don't know, hopefully you can see, we're going to angle that up. She wants a lot of that out. We're going to cut that out. And then that center section is what we're going to use for our guide. So I'm just going to take another section and pull it up, kind of following the first section I cut, and cut it down. And same over here. And probably just a little bit graduating the hair. You can see I'm pulling it towards the center as I work. And that helps so when it all falls back, it's a little shorter in the center, working towards a little more length in the sides, which she wants to keep her length in the sides. So, and some people when they do it, like the back all cut the same and then the sides left a little longer, and it doesn't always blend, and that's okay if that's the look they're going for. So, once I get all that kind of cut in, we'll bring down this other section. Now when we did it, when we come up into here, she just wants this barely trimmed, so we're not going to take a lot of length out of that top. We're going to graduate it out into that length. Now you can see that other length, I mean it's up over here, so we're going to be not way beyond, but we're going to be out past that. So we're just going to extend that line that we did there, going up, and cut all that out. You can see here, pulling that out, you can see really well her dark window she has down here too that she's had me put in. Looks really cute when it's colored like that, especially when it's styled. That's a real popular look right now, is to have your hair dark underneath. Okay, I'm doing the same on this side.
Is it taking quite a bit?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Seems like it, and also that's the other thing when you're cutting the hair. I mean, it's okay to ask them. You know, I took that much out. I mean, what do you think? It's a little longer going towards the sides. If you want me to cut the sides a little shorter, I can. A little more there.
I don't know. Maybe just blend that into
Blend
there.
it
Let's
in.
see.
Okay. Yeah. So, and sometimes, and that's okay when you're cutting someone's hair to ask them. I mean, better safe than sorry. Why not ask them and say, you know, is that short enough? Do you think that's going to be okay? I always try to caution on this, you know what I mean? You want to caution on the safe side, especially when you're working with somebody's hair that is shorter to begin with. You don't want to chop it all off. There's, you know, if you don't have a lot you're working with, I mean, of course it's the same with long hair. You don't want to chop all of somebody's hair off and be like, oh, is that okay? you know, better safe than sorry. Ask them, do you want me to remove a little bit more? If they're the one that tells you to do it, then you're okay. Then you're okay to do it, instead of just guessing. Of course, every client's different. I'm sure RaDona knows that. There's plenty that you probably could just chop it and they'd be like, oh, I love it, that's great. I mean, you can tell your clients' personalities if they like, you know, if they're okay with you doing that or not. And I'm going to go through this just a little bit and take that little bit of a hard corner off, so she doesn't have, so it doesn't come out and have a really sharp edge and then down. She wants it a little fuller up here, but she wants it to all lay smooth. So I am just going to go through there where those two sections come together. It kind of comes to a point. I'm just going to take that point off to soften it a little bit so it's not such a hard angle. You always want to check. Make sure you don't have one side way longer than the other. That's not very fun when your client goes to style their hair and one side's way out there and the other one's not. That's a little disappointing. Okay, what do you think now?
That's feeling much better. Oh,
You all right?
Yep. Already. Yeah, I think that's good.
You try that and see?
Yeah.
Okay, now we've kind of established the back. I think you've probably seen when I cut her hair before. I always like to go through, make sure I have a nice even line. I always cross check up, you know, cross it against the way you cut it initially. I cut her hair initially vertically going that way. So I'm going to go through and just kind of pull it out and cross check it. Make sure I didn't leave like a big chunk of hair sticking somewhere that I didn't get. Of course, on this side, I'm going to cross check it a little, you know, on an angle this way because her hair is angled that way a little bit because we cut it short, going a little bit longer in towards the sides.
It's feeling better already.
So, and the other thing which I've done before with people with shorter hair too is if we're not quite sure if we've taken enough or we want to do a little bit more, it's certainly fine to say, let's try that. Try it, see what you think. If you don't like it, if you feel like it needs to be shorter, call me in a couple days and we'll go ahead and I'll cut a little more off. You can always cut more off. It's really hard to put back if they don't like it though. So, okay, and then from there, we're just going to take kind of the, you know, we made a, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, there you go, like a point of where we put the length of the hair in the crown. So we're just going to come back to that point, and from there, we're just going to trim all this in. She still wants her length in the front. She has a little bit finer hair. So of course she's going to want her ends trimmed just a little bit. You don't want to leave their ends yucky because then it'll get split and it won't lay nice. It'll be all yucky on the ends. So, and anybody's hair's like that, not necessarily someone with fine hair. My hair even does it too. You still need to trim just a little bit off to keep it looking nice. A lot of people think, oh, let my hair grow, I'll just never trim it. And you can tell. When you look at it, yeah, you can tell someone who doesn't keep their hair trimmed, the ends just do not look nice. So that's probably a hairdresser thing, we noticed that.
Yes.
So, and then from there, I'm just going to go through and pull the sides up and trim that in if there's anything left there that we missed. And also, she wants her sides longer, so we're not going to cut any more through there. I'm just going to check right here and make sure we're not leaving any really long pieces of hair or anything right there. So barely trimming those sides off if they need it. Her red spot's going to look really cute.
Thank you. Excited.
Yeah, it turned out nice. Turned out really nice. And if you notice too, you can see how well the rest of her hair looks. You want to make sure, like I said, rinse that red out first. So her blonde is still blonde. She doesn't have pink on it. So just gonna check right here. Make sure we didn't leave like a long point where we brought that dark down. There's a couple long ones through there, so just checking those off. Okay. She wears a longer bang. I'm just going to pull it forward and barely knit the ends of those off a little bit. Take any splits that she has there. Okay, and then again, pulling up and checking. You can kind of tell by feel, you can tell by looking, is she about the same length? You don't want one side way longer than the other unless you're doing an asymmetrical cut, in which case it's okay. Alright, how does that feel?
Good, I think that's good. Does it look stacked enough?
It's a, yeah, I think it does, but it's a, if you feel like you want it stacked a little more, we can go more.
No, let's
Is the length okay?
Yeah, I think that
lengthwise?
feels really good.
Okay, and then we're just going to take the clipper and, of course, don't cut into the haircut, but take anything off the neck that is hanging down that's going to get in the way. You don't want to leave neck hair hanging. Okay, is there anything else you want to add?
Just some texture.
Oh, right.
Just up through here, if you will, please.
Okay, RaDona likes a little bit of texture. We just do it kind of up here in the corners. So that helps when she styles to give it a little bit of body. And so you don't want to remove a lot of bulk. It's not like we're thinning hair. We're just going in and just cutting a few little texture pieces so she'll have something to...
And everybody with fine, thin hair, like mine, I've had people say, oh, well, I have fine, thin hair. You know, I don't want any out. No, thank you. But they struggle with volume and things like that. So just know that it is okay. Like, yeah, don't take a ton off because we're not thinning it, but it really helps to cut those little hairs in there to give it volume so those longer hairs have something to, you know, to sit on to give you volume. It's okay even though it's thin and short. So you can just, or thin and fine. You know, you can tell your clients that also. Just know it's okay to take some off. It actually goes better that way. So my mom is one of those. She hates me to texturize it, but I still do because it really helps style it. So that's just a good pointer to know. Okay, awesome. All right, well, I will do another video on styling it, and thank you so much to Missy and Deanne. Thank you much. Have a great day. Hi, I'm RaDona from Boys and Girls Hairstyles. So we just cut my hair, all this back off, and did the color. So now I want to show you how I'm going to style it. I am going, and it's just damp, it's not sopping wet, it's just damp. The Add Volume from KMS, love it. Gets on your hair strand and swells it. This is about how much I like to use. Some people don't use that much. I like it because I love volume. So, okay, so I'm just going to stick that in my hair. Okay, now I'm going to blow dry. Okay, I'm just going to blow dry this back part down this way. So I'm gonna do it to where it's, I mean, it's not dry, but it's a tiny bit damp. I don't want to round brush when it's really soft and wet. It really pulls on your hair and it's not good for it. So make sure it's pretty much dry. I'm gonna start just back here. And I'm gonna hold it for a second and then let it go. And I'll take the next section. Let it sit for a sec, then let it go. Okay, then I'm just going to come to my sides and round brush this. And if some of you need to like pull sections up, it's totally great. Because obviously some of you are going to have a lot more hair than I do. Okay, then we'll just do this other side. Okay, so after I round brush, let me just kind of go back through, make sure it's all dry good. Okay. Now, it's nice because I have like 3 strands of hair and it dries super fast. Okay, now, I don't want like the round look, so I'm just going to take my flat iron and come back here and just pull straight down. On my sides. In the front. Just so it's more straight. Okay, again, if you have a lot of hair, you can take sections. But I'm just going to take my flat iron through it this way. Okay, and then I'm going to take the manipulator. I just like to dab my finger in it a little bit. Okay, rub back and forth till it's clear. And I'm just going to come up here through my front. Just kind of piece this part out. Take a little bit back through here. See, that looks a little too rounded. So I'm just going to take my flat iron and just pull it straight out that way. Okay. Okay, and then of course, the Voila comb. Love the poof in my hair. So I'm going to hold it tight here. I'm going to come in, down, and out. Kind of a C shape this way. And it does help, you guys, to spray underneath the back combing. And some of you, might not want to poof. You might just want to leave it straight, and that's great also. Okay, so then this is just when I take my mirror, I'm going to just comb that into a spot. It's fun to have a different color in there now. Change it up a little bit. Okay. Scary when it looks like this. can take my mirror. And this is the first time I've styled it since I cut all the back off, so it's just kind of nice. You just don't even have to really do the back. But it is kind of different, you know, not doing it like this. All right. Well, guess that's my new hairdo for a little bit. We'll try something new next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great